Okay, so now we're going to look at the cadential 6/4 chord. So the cadential 6/4 chord is there to basically decorate our cadence. Now, I can remember when I started with harmony, it felt like very confusing, you know, where to use what. So I'm going to tell you where to use it and what the function is of the various techniques. Something beautiful that I'm just thinking about now is that I've got a very old Oxford dictionary, and the definition for harmony is the clothing of melody, and I just love it. So that's of course specifically in connection with your homophonic music, where you've got a melody and then you basically add chords to support that and to clothe the melody. So yeah, that's just so beautiful, and that is what harmony is all about. Okay, so let's have a look at the cadential 6/4 chord. So we have two different types of cadential 6/4 chords. Okay, only two, no exceptions. The first one is your tonic chord in second inversion, and it will always resolve to your dominant chord. And then the second one is your subdominant chord in second inversion, and it will always resolve to your tonic chord. Okay, and this applies both to major keys as well as your minor keys. So there's one thing that I want you to just keep in mind is because of this, so 1/6/4 moving to a 5 means that you're basically going to have a long bass note. A long dominant note in the bass, because say we are in C major, chord 1 in first inversion is going to be C, E, G. In other words, the G will be in the bass, the second inversion, and of course the dominant chord in root position, you've got G, B, D, and there you can see the G is in the bass. So that's why I'm saying you're going to have a long dominant bass note. Of course, it can also be in the soprano or any other voice, but the bass will definitely look like this, having the G and the G. And with this one, when we write chord 4 also in C major, in second inversion, the C is the one that's going to be in the bass, and of course with chord 1, your in root position, the C is also in the bass. So whenever you have chord 4/6/4 moving to a chord 1, you're going to have a long tonic bass note, and that is also what you're looking for when you are harmonizing. So if they give you a long dominant bass in the soprano or in the bass, or a long tonic note, then you know you can actually use a cadential 6/4 chord to decorate the cadence. Okay, so that's the one aspect. And then the other thing, when it gets to the cadential 6/4 chord, just remember that it always falls on the strong beat. Okay, it can either occur at the beginning of a bar, or it can be also in the at the beginning of a bar. Actually what I want to say is it needs to be on the strong beat, but that means that if you look at this example here at the bottom, there you can see that it's at the beginning of my bar, and also in my second example also at the beginning of the bar, but the difference is that I can either use the cadential 6/4 chord in front of my cadence, or I can use it in the middle of my cadence. So here my cadence is 5/1. Okay, so either before the cadence or in the middle of it, but just as long as it is on the strong beat. Okay, and then let me just quickly think if there's something else that I want to quickly point out before I move on. Yes. Yes, this is an important aspect. Please remember that your cadential 6/4 chord does not replace your cadence. Okay, so you have your 4 different cadences. You've got your perfect cadence, you've got your plagal cadence, you have your imperfect cadence, and you have your interrupted cadence. Okay, so your cadence will always consist of only two chords, which you find at the end of a section, at the end of a piece. And as you would know, your perfect and your plagal cadence are the ones that we reserve for the end of pieces or the end of sections, whereas your interrupted and imperfect cadence we can use at the end of any phrase. Okay, so it does not, the cadential 6/4 does not replace your cadence. Okay, very important. So it either comes before the cadence or it's in the middle of the cadence. Okay, so I'm going to quickly harmonize this for you that you can see how I do it. So what's very nice about the cadential 6/4 is that it resolves in a particular manner. So two of the chord notes will actually remain on the same pitch, and two of them will descend stepwise when they resolve. Okay, and the reason why two of them will stay on the same pitch, like I said here, if you look at this, you're going to have a long dominant bass note and then the doubled note. So in this case, because it's second inversion, I'm doubling the G. Because it's first in root position, I'm going to double the G, and that's why two of the notes will remain in the same voice. So it's actually very, very logical. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at this. So I already wrote out the chords for you. I decided to give you an example in a minor key. So we're going to look at E minor, and we've got a 3/4 time signature. So because it falls on the strong beat, it comes natural to actually make the cadential 6/4 the longer note as well. Okay, so because it's first inversion, what am I saying? I mean, because it's second inversion, I am going to double the B, and the B is going to be in the bass because it's second inversion. Okay, so let's write it down. So I'm going to put my E here, E, and the G I'll put there, and then I'm going to double my B like this. Okay, now I'm going to go to chord 5. So chord 5 is B, D sharp. Remember, this is a major dominant triad there in this example. So it means that I'm going to have the raised leading tone, and then of course the F sharp is part of my key signature. Okay, so I'm going to double the B. Look how easy that is. So all I do is, you can either write two crotchets here, or what you can also do is to actually just put a dot and make the two minims dotted minims. So that's up to you. Okay, so then I already have the two voices that stay on the same pitch, and then over here they're going to descend stepwise. So the E is going to move to a D. Okay, because it's the raised leading tone, it's D sharp. And then the G is going to move to my F sharp like that. Okay, so that is how the resolution of the cadential 6/4 works. So two voices stay on the same pitch, and two will descend stepwise. It doesn't matter which one is where, but the bass will be fixed because of the figuring. Okay, and then I'm just going to quickly finish this for you. So then I have my chord 1 again, so E, G, B. Okay, and I will double my G because it's a minor triad, and that's my preferred note, which I will double in a minor triad, and it's in root position. So I'm just going to go E, G. So I'm doubling the G, E, G. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so I doubled both the E and the G. So remember, that's one of my doubling possibilities when it gets to the minor triad. And the reason why I did not include my B Of course, what I could also have done is I could have actually replaced this G with a B. That's a possibility. But because my D sharp, my leading tone, needs to resolve to the tonic, I decided to double both the E and the G. Okay, so that is then your first example that I wanted to show. And now I'm going to show you how to do it if it's in the middle of your cadence. Please remember, when it gets to chord progression, you're never allowed to move from a dominant chord to a subdominant chord, but this is one of the times where it is actually allowed, because we call this indirect resolution from the dominant triad to the tonic triad. Okay, so this one is purely, the cadential 6/4 chord is purely to just decorate my cadence. Okay, so let's see. So you can also, I put the A here, you can also change it into a dominant chord, and that's up to you, just as long as it indirectly resolves correctly to the tonic triad. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to, however, just for this example, I think I'm going to skip the 7th, and I'm just going to harmonize my normal dominant triad. It's a major triad, so chances are that I'm going to double the B. That is my first choice. Okay, so let's see what happens. I don't know what happened earlier in the bar. Maybe you had another cadential 6/4 chord. You're allowed to do that. So I just didn't complete anything there. Okay, so I'm just looking at the second half of my bar. So I'm going to double my B and its root position, so the B is in the bass. Okay, so I have B, D, F sharp, sorry. Okay, so there is my raised leading tone again. And now I'm going to have my cadential 6/4 chord. So in E minor, it is A, C, E, that is my subdominant. So now it's second inversion, so the E is going to be in the bass, and I'm going to double the E. And I want you to, I suppose you already have a little system where you just shorthand the chord. It just helps you to stay focused on the notes that you're working with, that some notes don't by accident drop into your harmonization, and that you can see, okay, I'm going to double this, that's why I'm drawing the 2 lines, and I'm going to put this one in the bass. Okay, so just small little things that can help you to avoid unnecessary mistakes. Okay, good. So I'm going to write my A here, A, and then I'll have my C, and then E. And like I've said earlier, I still write in the order of the triad to avoid unnecessary mistakes. So I went A, C, and then doubled the E. Okay, so now I know that 2 of the chord notes will remain on the same pitch, and 2 of them will descend stepwise. It will be the E that remains. Okay, good. So I'm just going to remain the E. Really simple to do this, guys. And now my A is going to resolve descending to the G, and the C is going to resolve descending to the B. Okay, so then of course what's very nice about the cadential 6/4 is when you resolve like this, because of its very specific resolution, chances of you getting parallel fifths and octaves are basically 0. Okay, so you can still always check. You have to allow time in your harmony to check for parallel fifths and octaves, of course. Okay, good. So that's it. Okay, so this is the cadential 6/4.